Greetings, hope you're doing well. Today I'm doing a quick review of the newest album from Everything titled Reanimator. Please enjoy liking and subscribing if you enjoy the video. This is the new album from politically charged art rock, out pop extraordinaires who bursted into newfound popularity with their critically acclaimed 2015 album Get to Heaven. An album that had so much color and flavor while having these intricately written tracks with a lot of socio-political undertones amidst the very vivid presentation. Their follow-up record, Fever Dream, wasn't as colorful, but I thought the material on the record was still high quality with their emphasis on dark electronics on a majority of the record, a musical choice that gave the album a sense of dread, despair, and inevitability that I loved. So that leads us to Reanimator, and I hadn't heard any of the singles going into this, so I was very excited to go into this project blind and fresh. And the first thing I immediately noticed was that the overall sound of the album isn't as dense or populated or detailed as a majority of their previous material, and that attention to detail was one of the reasons why I fell in love with the band in the first place. The production for the most part sounds like very polished indie rock, INDIETRONICA, which isn't a bad thing. The band's repertoire for their dynamic vocals and expanded lexicon for lyricism is a big draw to them and a pretty big part of their identity, but that doesn't relieve some of the more puzzling and kind of awkward musical decisions on the album. Like on the track It Was a Monstering, there's a blatant Radiohead Hail to the Thief influence that is noticeable in the instrumental and especially the vocals. It's like Tom York possessed Jonathan Hicks' body on this track. But as the track goes on, it unravels itself to be very unfocused with what they're trying to accomplish on this track. The song Black Hyena has a buzzing and fuzzy gradient to it that I really like, but the way the song is structured to have an instrumental-led second half just has such little flair and personality on the production side of things, so it drags on needlessly. And the track Lord of the Trapdoor is lacking in its foundation despite the noise rock sound it inhabits. There's just clearly not a lot of depth that I had come to expect from this band. So while I do concede that the overall sound is definitely watered down from their previous material and hamstrings a handful of moments on the album, that doesn't mean there are not great tracks on here, because there are. The opening track Lost Powers is fantastic. I love the hook on here as it kind of explains the hope that the band has gained in the new generation fighting for current issues. The hook on Arch Enemy is fantastic too. Arch enemy, enemy, I was lonely. I love the romanticization of having an arch enemy be someone you can't live without, kind of like Batman and Joker in the Lego Batman movie, if you've seen it. It reminded me quite a bit of that. Big Climb is great as it discusses being concerned with the suffering aspect of calamity rather than actually dying, which I found to be a very interesting perspective, especially with the recent fires in California. The dark synth arpeggios on the track Planets give it a voyeuristic feel paired with the curiously emotional tracks that I really came to like. The passionate vocal performance on the track Moonlight saves that song from its more feeble moments. In Birdsong is a song that continuously builds and builds with numerous peaks and cinematic synth layers before slowly fading out, making it an absolute monolith of a track. The actor follows suit with tracks like Lost Powers. I found the concept of either it being a personality disorder or being an imposter in your own body to be really cool. And the closer Violet Sun is a sun-kissed indie rock jam where the song is encouraging its listeners to seize the moment, be it a movement or a lifestyle choice. I think it was a good note to end off on. So yeah, it was definitely one of their more watered down and least dense albums so far, and that might rub some of their hardcore fans, especially ones who loved Get to Heaven and Fever Dream, the wrong way, but that doesn't derail the enjoyment I personally got from this album. I am interested to see if the band will deviate from this sound or pursue another one in their future projects, but as for this album, it is really good. I'd give it a